It's fact that the earth is flat. 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 It's fact that the earth. NASA allows us get to it around 1962ish. They tried to get through it the very first time. Mushroom clouds filled the sky. The Soviet Union and US got denied. The other side of the firmament, they couldn't access it. About that time they invented NASA ships that couldn't pierce through the sky. Operation Fishbowl, go on and imagine it. And I ain't acting stupid when I say that space is fake. That this ain't no adding to it. See, the Masons made the Matrix maze and used religion to take away your faith. Hey, I guess I was just saved by grace, woke and not just a daily eighth of the face. And for a second, I ain't know if I should do this song, but then I thought, ain't no one could prove me wrong, cause it's fact that the earth is flat. It's fact that the earth is flat. It's fact that the earth is flat. It's fact that the
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Flat Earth Podcast for another hour or so of Flat Earth audio. I'm your co-host for now, Matt Long, a.k.a. Flat Worth. And with me, as always, is Dave from Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Dave, how's the brain damage, buddy?
The brain damage is doing well, still hesitating getting my words out from years ago from a multiple rides on a roller coaster.
Is it hindering you in society this week, or do you feel like the delay is something manageable?
Actually, people talk too much, and I think the delay has actually made me very successful.
Very good, very good. So how was California, the California meetup?
Oh, the California meetup was a lot of fun. Thanks to the guys that put it on out there. Met a whole bunch of new people that are awake, people that homeschool their kids, have the kids at home. They are the future of America.
Nice.
No vaccines, homeschooled, and healthy and bright as can be. They are the future of America. Now, that future may be a Handmaid's Tale, and they are the handmaids, because they're the only ones that can breed because they were raised properly. But they are the future of America.
Wow. Meet any chicks?
There were some very nice chicks there, and all is well. But unfortunately, I am off the market. Speaking of on the market, off the market, how did your date go?
I think it's interesting how you would not answer a question of mine and simply reverse it with a question of your own. So
I've been trying to record for an hour and a half to get Inar Kuskan, and he's having microphone problems, and we finally gave up.
yeah, we did. We gave up after about an hour and a half, and that only speaks to the level of respect we have for him, because I would say anywhere 15 to 30 minutes should be the cutoff point where when you can't get something to work, you just bag it and move on. So out of respect, Inar, we gave you an hour and a half and look forward to hopefully having you on next week.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out what the problem was.
I'm actually coming to you from Canada right now at the FE, Flat Earth International Conference Canada. I'm going to be speaking on the reason why people seem to want to not care about this notion that they might be being lied to, the shape of the earth.
That's one of my favorite topics to talk about, why it matters and why people think they don't care.
You're exactly right. And yeah, exactly right. Why they think they don't care. And luckily I have 45 minutes to go into it, which, like you always talk about, you hate when it's the first question someone asks because it's a long answer.
That question usually is asked after you keep answering every other question they have with a solid answer. Well, what about the time zones? What about seasons? What about this and that? And then we come up with a really good answer. And then they're like, well, what does it matter anyway?
Right. Exactly right. So I was coming into Canada to go through customs. And as I go through, the guy asked me, well, why are you coming to Canada? And I said, well, I'm going to a conference. And he says, well, which conference? Well, the Flat Earth International Conference. What's it about? Flat Earth. And that was it.
And that was it.
I'm just trying to get through customs. I was trying to get to a plane that was inevitably canceled. So I passed up on the opportunity to visit with this customs agent about Flat Earth because I was on my way to a flight which was inevitably canceled. And so I was stuck in the airport for a good 3-4 hours. And I was trying to think of places that would be worse than an airport to be stuck in, like a doctor's office or something like that. Dave, you got any ideas what could be worse?
Any place where there's nobody to talk to Flat Earth about, I guess, if you got nothing else to keep you busy.
I was thinking what would be worse would maybe be being stuck on a spinning ball flying through space. That might be worse.
That's not even a possible thing, Matt. Saying that, think about this. Most of the world believes they're on a spinning ball flying through space. How can they be grounded as a person? How can they feel any control in their life subconsciously when that is the foundation of their belief?
Totally agree. And actually bringing that into perspective for myself was like, oh yeah, this isn't a big deal. I just sat around, enjoyed my free time, didn't stress over what I couldn't control.
Were you a little bummed that you blew off the guy asking about the conference, and then you found out that your flight was canceled and you could have?
Yeah. It was one of those things where you're always thinking about what you could have said. I was sitting there long enough to think about a couple of the questions from last show. There was someone who asked about a good place to find the Bible verses that are talked about in the Bible that reference a flat earth. It was funny because you kind of rushed me a little bit. Maybe I was being a little long-winded. Maybe we had a bunch of speak pipes, but you rushed me a little bit. And I only said Nathan Roberts and Dean Odell. And I kicked myself sitting in the airport thinking, like, why didn't I say Rob Skiba? He's got that great website, Testing the Globe.
I know why. You told me the other day you don't like him.
Oh, whatever. Skiba's the reason I got into this whole deal. So I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't I say testingtheglobe.com, which I'm saying right now? And then Robbie Davidson calls me, who's putting on the conference up here in Canada, and says, hey, after the conference, we're all going to go to Banff. We're going to hop in the van. It's going to be you, me, Skiba, Patricia, I think Sargent's going, and we're all going to listen to the Flat Earth podcast. And I was like, isn't that awesome? I'll probably be sitting in a van, rubbing shoulders with Rob Skiba, not mentioning him on the Flat Earth podcast. So I wanted to have a shot of redemption here.
I doubt he'll listen to another episode after that. Right, so you might want to play this one first.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, can we listen in reverse order? It's better that way.
It's way better that way. There's secret messages.
Unfortunately, I won't upload this until after that trip.
By the way, Curious Jay called me over in between this deal. He wanted to tell me I did a good job. And you did not tell me that the true identity of Curious Jay is Donald J. Trump.
Did he reveal himself to you?
He did. It was kind of a weird moment because I get a FaceTime call from a number that's not in my phone. And that's kind of like playing roulette, right? Like you don't know what's about to happen. I wasn't sure. There's a lot of possibilities that could be on the other end of that.
Were you alone when this FaceTime call came in?
I actually was not alone. The person that was with me reached over and tried to swipe it open real quick, but it was too late. Then I got a text from him saying, hey, it's Curious Jay. I realized that was probably weird getting a FaceTime from a number that's not in your phone. He gave me some pointers, and I thanked him for the microphone and headphones he sent me. And great conversation, great guy. He made sure that none of the Secret Service were in the room while he was talking to me, and hopefully we'll be hearing from him regularly. He did give me one point of advice, and it was if I ever had to go to the bathroom, it was to just say the word indoctrination, and you would go off for about 10 minutes, and that would give me plenty of time to do what I needed to do.
Is that so?
That's what he said. So
I think he's upset because every time we say eclipse, he short circuits. And I can't tell you from last week's show when at the beginning, we sarcastically said that Jay went back to the ball. How many messages I got going, what? Wait, Jay went back to the ball? I knew he was going to. I mean, I got so many messages.
We knew it.
Yeah, we knew it. And then like, oh my God, did he really? Wow, what happened? Please tell me. And I couldn't even deal.
Just a rumor, just a rumor. Another rumor that I'd like to keep alive, just kind of when you say something enough, it eventually becomes truth. I don't know what that number is, but I'm just going to keep alive the fact that Red's rhetoric might be Eric Dubé. And I talked to Patricia Steer about it, and she said, oh, yeah, I've heard of that. And so I can't remember if she said, no, I don't believe it, or yeah, I 100% believe it. So I'm pretty sure she said, yeah, I 100% believe it. But there's a chance that she said, no, I don't believe it.
I need something that would even hint to that being a possibility.
From what I gather, if there's a possibility to slow down Reds Rhetoric's voice, you might hear Eric Dubé, who also, by the way, is David Hogg. I don't know if you knew that. Who is Adam Lanza?
Okay. I'm not even going to touch that one because, again, just like Flat Earth, it's not worth my time. It's ridiculous.
It's so stupid, right?
It's so stupid. I'm not even going to look into it. Not a chance.
Well,
Don't waste my time.
There's also another conspiracy theory out there about Red's rhetoric, which we will get into next week if you guys stick around. There has been some people that have requested that we do this show every day. Is that correct?
That's happened, and it's just not going to happen.
We talked about it, and we just decided that would just basically be like people listening to us on the phone, like talking to each other. So what I think we could do is we'll do an example of me calling you so that people can see that no, we shouldn't do the podcast every day. What do you think?
All right, give it a try.
Okay. Ring, ring. Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Why didn't you say hello?
It's a wasted thing. I don't do that.
You never say hello?
Whenever a friend is calling, I just answer.
Oh, that's
who
cool.
You're calling.
True. How's the rash? Is it doing all right? Is it better?
It's fine. How was your date?
It was good. It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it went well.
Any details you want to share?
Apparently, she did not know that if you're a flat earther, you also don't believe the narrative of 9/11.
Is that a fact?
I
So you are dating, if that's what you're doing. Is she a flat earther?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Is she a flat earther?
She I would say she has a great mindset. She's questioning. But
Wait, hold on a second. I got another call. Hold on.
I forgot we were on the phone call. Okay, so
right.
That's why we shouldn't do the podcast every day.
There you go. That's what it would be like.
Oh man, anyways, I don't like being on hold, so I would have just hung up.
Yeah.
All right,
And then
so
I would have called you back and go, what the hell? Did you hang up for? I don't like being on hold for 20 minutes.
Oh man, awesome stuff. Okay, maybe we should do it every day.
Maybe.
All
People
right.
are going to be like, that was the best part of the show, man. You did the phone call. I want in on that. That's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Okay, so tell me about your inability to take naps anymore, like full-blown, dedicated sleep naps. Like, what's going on with that?
I always say there's no time zones on flat Earth because that's one thing that the shills would say. From that, I take it one step further. I say there's no sleeping on flat Earth. And it's because we're always wanting to learn more. We don't have boring lives. Whenever we have downtime, we use that to learn something new and research a little further.
Totally agree with that.
Instead of when I'm driving, if I've got nothing that I need to think about business-wise, I'll put on some, a podcast, video, and I'll listen and I'll always be learning. So when I lay down, I'm like, I could take an hour nap now, or I could just plug in my headphones and listen to whoever, Rob Skiba, those of us that like him, and listen to something new. So I find myself only half napping and half taking in data.
With you only half napping and half taking in data, you're taking in more data than the general population, for sure.
I agree. I call it a flap.
A flap. Okay.
A flap, baby.
Maybe some of our listeners can come up with some better things. I was thinking about thinkubating. Like incubating, thinking while you incubate, thinkubating.
I'm not going to touch that one. Don't know what it is. Maybe somebody can come up with a good word for when you're sleeping and listening to flat Earth content.
All right, speak pipe us. So tell me about this perspective video you posted on Facebook. The difference in objects that are going away from you on the ground as opposed to going away from you well above your head.
I've been working on sunsets. As you guys know, I've been filming with the drone and how the sun sets, and there's different sunsets. There's a sunset where it'll go behind a land feature that's above your eye level. So it just moves beyond it and it looks like it's setting below it when it's actually just moving beyond it. Then there's a cloud horizon. When you look up through clouds straight up, there's lots of spaces you see sky, but as your angle changes farther and farther away, you get to a point where the clouds have no spaces and it becomes a cloud deck and the sun will disappear behind that. And if that's, 30 or 40 miles away, it's almost indistinguishable from the horizon, even though it's 10, 20,000 feet in the air.
And because it's only 30 or 40 miles away, that's why you wouldn't see the sun shrink into nothing. Is that what you're saying?
P-Brain did a great video on it a long time ago, and I finally pulled it up and re-looked at it. It's ground-based perspective versus what he calls celestial perspective. And that's the one where
Interesting.
You put a camera on the floor and he put a ball like a foot in front of the camera and a ball 10 feet across the room. And you could see both of them at the same time. And the one 10 feet across the room was much smaller due to perspective. We all understand that. But then he raised the camera up, which would be equivalent to raising the balls up to the ceiling. But he raised the camera up above the first ball and showed both balls. And they were essentially the same size, even though the farther one was still farther.
Wow.
Some will say, well, the farther one it is a little bit smaller. Yeah, it is a little bit smaller. But when you're looking at celestial perspective, you have to add in atmospheric magnification. That slight bit smaller gets magnified a little bit, and everything is looking very close to the same. And again, measuring the sun is very difficult with the glare. They want you to use a solar filter, the trolls out there. And a true solar filter completely blocks out the sun before it gets all the way down to sunset.
Agreed. One of the things that first really shook me was on a really dry day, I took pictures of the sun with a solar filter above my head, and then I took it around noon, and then I took it around 6 p.m., which was when it was setting. This was a dry winter day. It was actually slightly smaller at 6 p.m. than when it was at 12 p.m.
But not as much as you would think.
Not as much as a ball earther would say it should be, and that's because of the magnification still coming through on the atmosphere. But I'll tell you, it shouldn't be any smaller if we're on a ball. Do you agree with that?
Even on a ball, there would be atmospheric magnification at sunset.
Right. It should not get smaller, though.
So on a dry day, it does get smaller. That's very good.
Right.
The thing that people don't realize is that it's the last part of where you would say the drop is. It stops dropping because your ratio of height and distance is maxed out. Now it's just distance is being added on and height has been taken out of the equation. Once it's down at what appears to be the horizon, now you're back to ground-based perspective and the sun will go away. The sun usually gets eclipsed by what I'm now calling the atmospheric max distance barrier. And that's when it's a extremely clear day and there's no clouds. The sun gets to a point where its light cannot push through the thickness, the density of the atmosphere. And as you've seen in my 4 sun fade out movies, it just disappears into the thickness.
Now, this AMDB, is this a David Weiss special, or did you pull that from somewhere?
Oh, that's it's in Wikipedia now. Actually, I made it up. Atmospheric max distance barrier. There might be something better, but that kind of describes what it is. The maximum distance barrier in the atmosphere.
I like it. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Again, something that most people would not dig deep enough to even realize exists.
This is the problem. People don't know how to think. They're just taught what to think, and they only have a limited number of things that they can think about because that's all that they know exists. They don't know about other things that they've never been taught about, so they don't go looking. Our choices have really been limited, which keeps us locked in a box.
Exactly. We've come up with a new game. Is that right, Dave?
We're going to try it out, yes.
And it has to do with defining something as either a flat smack, a flattening, or an unballing. We're going to try it out.
Just help me out here. Flat smacking is boom. I just basically smacked you with flat earth information.
Yes, hard.
Explain the difference between an unballing and a flattening.
Great question. I think probably unballing and flattening are very similar as far as approach. Maybe an unballing is putting doubt in the ball, and a flattening is putting evidence towards it being flat.
Hammering home the flatness in a gentle way.
I would say so, yes.
All right. So if I was on an airplane early and I got the trifold brochures and put them in 20 of the seat back pockets, what would that be?
I would describe that as a flattening.
I agree. A flattening also. Maybe we should give the listeners a second to guess themselves and see if they can
Great.
see how they score.
Great. Okay.
If you go to someone's home and when you use their computer, you set their homepage to the flatearthpodcast.com.
Okay. We'll give them a few seconds. Time's up. I'm going to say that is a flat smack.
I guess so.
I don't know, because it's in your face. It's going to pop up.
I don't know. I would consider that a flattening, but again, we might have to work on the rules of this.
Okay.
Along that lines, if you're using someone's phone, for some reason you have their phone and it's unlocked.
That was their fault.
And you go on Instagram and just start liking all the flat earth pages, start following, and then go on Twitter and just follow all, just have a list and just nail them all down. I would call that I don't know. I guess they're all flat smacking in my book.
I think that's a similar flat smacking, though. That is going to another level of getting on someone's social media and doing things like that. I used to have a buddy whose sister would always leave her computer on, and he would go post some of the just most insane things on her Facebook. I'd be like, God, this girl is gross. But apparently it was her brother doing it the entire time.
That's pretty funny. How about just tagging somebody on Flat Earth videos on Facebook?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that on unballing?
I'm going to say that is probably depends on the video, but I'm going to say
that's true.
Unballing or flattening.
The last one I have, you live in a condo complex or apartments where there's lots of Wi-Fi networks, naming your Wi-Fi, the earth is flat, or research flat earth.
I love that. I love it. Oh,
you don't know that one yet?
I don't know.
Also, if you have Wi-Fi on your phone, a hotspot, just do it on your phone.
I'm doing that. So I'm doing that right now. That's great. I'm going to say that is I don't know. That kind of incorporates all three right there.
I think that we're going to need to figure out a better rule for this game because we'll call it the good idea game.
The good idea game. I think
good idea game.
I think I'm worried people are going to stop listening if we call it the good idea game.
All right, that's true. You have any you want to add?
How you can hide some flat earth stuff in time capsules and stuff, but that's probably similar to the airplane.
Except no one's going to see it for 20 years.
Yeah, they'll be like, they'll already know it's flat. You should hide some ball stuff in there.
There's one girl that's putting flat earth brochures in these time capsules. You know what they are.
Yeah.
And so someone's going to open them up in 10 or 20 years and it's going to be like, the earth is flat. And the person's going to be like, duh.
Of course, by then they'll be like, why would someone they wouldn't even remember the narrative that it was a ball by then. We'll have erased all that.
Nobody ever believed the earth was a ball.
Yeah, nobody ever believed there was a ball.
That's all fiction.
So earlier, while we were trying to rummage through the ridiculousness of our platform, trying to get our guest on, he's from Estonia. I got on Google Maps to see where Estonia was exactly. And lo and behold, Google Maps is no longer flat. It is on a globe. And if you zoom out far enough, you'll see that. And you'll notice as you drag it across, either with your finger, if you got a touch screen, or with your mouse, it won't pull perfect left or right. It spins like you're spinning a globe.
Can you flip it north to south?
Good question. I don't know. Let's see here. I don't know if you can reflatten it.
It doesn't flip pole to pole.
Yeah, you can't flip north to south. It just starts spinning at the top.
Is Google Maps now using the same map as Google Earth? Because they were using different maps before.
If that's the case, they are responding specifically to a complaint of yours. Yep.
I don't know if I'm the one that came up with it. I might have been the one that just kept saying it. But I see they are using a real picture of the Earth.
Yep. I wonder if you can see all the names of the countries from space.
Wait a minute. I'm looking outside and the clouds match up.
Do you see the big United States sign anywhere?
I do. It's right across. It says United States.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. You're right. The clouds do match.
Actually, they could do that, by the way. They could just put real weather radar. There goes the brain damage. And accurately put real weather on top of this. I know we're going to hear it. Look, the weather matches. Earth is a ball. You guys are morons.
I have a question. Why wouldn't they? I think that would be awesome.
I know that Google Earth sometimes shows the weather. They could accurately put weather systems on there.
This globe is now my new fidget spinner here. I'm enjoying this. Enough of that. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Go to Google Maps. Not Google Earth, but Google Maps.
If you zoom out as far as it goes, the Milky Way shows up. So it's got to be real.
You know, can we at least agree that no one has a picture of what the Milky Way galaxy looks like? Can we agree on that? Surely, like, ball earthers would agree on that, right?
I don't know what they agree on.
We agree we've never been far enough outside the galaxy to take a picture of the Milky Way galaxy to even know what it looks like.
By looking at all of the distances of all of the stars and calculating their angles, they can, using computer graphics, show us accurately what it would look like from a side view.
Right, yeah.
Or a top view.
No, I don't think, but it's fascinating.
You think?
It's a fascinating tale.
I mean, if they say it, then it must be true. I got a question for you, Matt. I was watching the UAP put out a video basically just analyzing this complete CGI satellite video by the European Space Agency. One thing they showed that there's all of these satellites that are out of service, and they said they can put them either in a higher orbit or they can send them back to Earth and burn them up in the atmosphere. Why do satellites burn up in the atmosphere and like the Red Bull jump or even a regular skydiver doesn't even get hot? I mean, you hit terminal velocity and that's it. I think the ballers would say it's coming in because the air is so thin and gravity is pulling it in. It goes so fast that it's going faster than terminal velocity when it hits the atmosphere. Therefore,
I guess
it catches fire. I mean, you could say anything because they'll say that has to be it because it happens.
I agree. That's what they would say. It seems to me like, if I'm just thinking logically, and I have not studied this phenomena, but it seems to me that your speed would also be inversely proportional to the amount of friction, because the reason you're going faster is because there's less air resistance, thus less friction. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It makes no sense. The whole burning up of asteroids and things falling into the atmosphere is made up nonsense. And people are so indoctrinated that they cannot see through the illogical sense of it.
It is funny how many times they say something is coming down, and it might come down over a piece of land or it might come down over the ocean, and it always ends up burning up and there's never a trace of it. But people remember being scared that it might come down over their house. So they remember, oh yeah, I remember that satellite came down back when I was however old, but they never saw it.
Sometimes they find a weird thing that fell out of the sky, and those are just failed rockets, and they're claiming that those are satellites or who knows what they are.
Yeah, it's really bad when they still have the weather balloon attached
Those
to
are my favorites. We can show people the satellites coming down with balloons on them. We can show them the launching, the amount of helium that NASA uses, and they still don't believe it.
I actually want to go. There is a place in Texas called Palestine, Texas, where there is a NASA facility where apparently they do a ton of balloon launches there, and I need to go check that out.
For those of you that don't know, satellites are balloons. That's it.
We don't need any more questions about satellites, right?
Correct.
Awesome. So tell me about this. What happens, because this happens more and more regularly thanks to Walmart licensing the NASA logo. What happens when you see someone walking around in a T-shirt promoting NASA, almost as if they are sponsored by NASA?
So it's kind of like one of those scenes in a movie where the person just does something wild, crazy, and then you realize he was just dreaming. And it goes back to the person still walking there. I was walking through the airport and I saw this guy wearing a NASA shirt, and all of the things in my head that I said to him and his responses, I went through an entire scenario, but then I just kept walking. I see people wearing these NASA shirts and I feel bad. I feel bad that their whole life is a lie, but then I don't feel that bad because they're in the same boat with 99% of the rest of the population.
Right, exactly. I have a red hen on my shirt right now.
And that does what when people see it? Nothing so far.
Nothing so far. But the more we talk about that, you just need to follow the red hen, redhenn.com, the more people are going to follow it. It knows something. Follow it. It knows something. It's not worth if you just follow it for a little while.
More to come on that, I hope.
More to come on that. why don't we take a break and do some speak pipes? How about that?
We'll be right back.
Dude, are you still listening to this on YouTube? Get a podcast platform so you can listen to a podcast, okay? Why would you want to sit here and stare at a thumbnail for an hour and a half? Right, I have no idea either. Come on. Dave told me people are still listening to this on YouTube. I didn't believe him. I went over and saw how many views we had. Come on. It's time to get into the second half of 2018. This is not 2007, guys. Do it. Are you one of the many that have been fooled by the modern rejuvenation of the flat earth movement, and now you just feel empty? Do you long to feel the spin of the earth like you used to? Introducing Red Hen, a refreshing new drink from the professionals at Flatworth Brewing. Red Hen is a daring combination of Red Bull and Hennessy, inspired by courageous people like Felix Baumgartner and Auguste Piccard, who boldly traveled into the stratosphere by balloon. Never mind how those ignorant flat earthers point out that the horizon is flat from the non-fisheye lens inside the capsule, or that Piccard described the earth as flat with an upturned edge in Scientific American. This drink is designed to dismiss all the haters and send you back into your preferred state of consciousness. With 66.6% alcohol by volume, specifically designed by satanic Nazi magicians and carefully mixed by professional technicians, you'll be back to feeling like you're spinning 1,000 miles an hour in no time. Red Hen. Stay asleep, my friends. 66.6% alcohol by volume. Flatworth Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Flatworth Brewing reminds you to never drink and drive. That's redhen with 2Ns.com.
Hey, it's Mitchell from Australia. Where are you? Like, it's been over a month. I haven't heard from you. I check your podcast page every day. There's just nothing. It's like you've just left. Like, you don't call? You don't write? Just getting your answering machine again. Is it me? God, it must be me. I'm sorry, I always do this. I come on too strong. I try to be overly nice. Like, I'm a nice guy. Just give me another chance. Pick up the phone. I know you're there. I know you're there. Don't hide from me. Pick up the phone. I love you. Bye. Hey, it's me again. Still haven't heard from you. I just can't get you out of my head. You drive me crazy. It's all I think about is just you. Dave, is it the transgender thing? Because I don't care, man. If you got an innie or an outie, I still love you the same. I just need to hear that voice. Please come back to me. I saw your mum at the shops the other day. I just didn't know what to say. Just give me an answer. Do you love me or not? Bye. Pick up the phone! You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see, Davy? Where the hell are you? I swear to God, if I come around your place and Jay's car's there, oh, help me God. What does Jay have that I don't have, huh? You know what, screw this, screw your games. I'm going to call Jaren and he's going to give me flat earth. Yeah, how do you like that, huh? Yeah, you forgot I got those photos of you too, don't you? Yeah, oh, you want to play games? You pick up this phone. I know you're listening. You're nothing, you hear me? Never been anything. Before we even met, I picked you up, put you on the flat earth pedestal, and now what do you repay me with, huh? Silence, nothing. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean it. Nobody does flat earth like you. Jaren, he doesn't mean anything. I mean, I like his videos, but that's it. That's as far as it goes. He could stick a whole box of tissues up his nose and he still wouldn't have a beautiful nasally voice like you do. I just need you. Come back to me. I love you. Bye. Davy, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Because I want you and I need you. And I'm down for you always, CJ. Do you love me? Are you riding? Hey, never ever leave from beside me, 'cause I want ya, and I need ya, and I'm down for you always. Boys, this is what happens when you don't do a podcast for a month. Don't let it happen again.
Dave, you've got quite the stalker. What would you classify that?
I don't know what I would classify that as, but oh my God.
He seems like the type of guy who would stab you in the shower while saying I love you at the same time.
He did the whole angry girlfriend thing where he gets really angry and then he comes back apologetic. There was 7 speak pipes, I believe, in a row. I'm like, what is going on here?
Is that the new record? 7 in a row?
No record setting. We just got a speak pipe moments ago from Curious Jay. Want to hear it?
I do.
Okay, here we go.
What's up, guys? Curious Jay here. Want to take a minute to call in to actually utilize SpeakPipe from the other side and leave you guys a message. First things first, just want to say that the last episode was killer. You guys, Matt, Dave, you guys stepped up and really crushed it, man. And Matt did a heck of a job taking over in my absence. So I just want to give a little quick shout out. Hats off to both of you. It was awesome. And as per my absence, no, Curious Jay has not gone back to the globe side. No, there's no Tiger Dan issue or anything like that. The real reason for my absence is actually a lot less exciting, less dramatic, and that is simply work. You know, I used to do freelance work. Now I'm doing a contract job, and basically what that means is, you know, twice the workload, twice the travel, twice the time away from home. And so every chance I get, every little bit of spare time I get, basically gonna hop on a plane and fly home and spend it with the kids. So it's gonna really limit my time for the foreseeable. But I wanted to keep calling in and keep giving some input on the Flat Earth podcast. And one of the things that I wanted to get your opinion on, wanted to hear what you thought. I mentioned it to Dave, but it's a simple test that I think somebody should do. If somebody's already done it, my apologies, send it our way. But it's the solar-powered moon test. That's what I'm going to call it. Anyway, and the question at hand is does a full moon, does the light from a full moon work on solar cells? Because according to the heliocentric model, moonlight is simply reflected sunlight. So, of course, the detractors immediately, you know, and I don't know, I've never taken anything that registers solar power. I've never taken it out on a full moon night. I'm not sure what it does. But let's just say for a second that it doesn't register. I'm sure the detractors, the opposing side would say, well, it's because it's so little. It needs to be more. It's such a small amount, right? Or maybe they'd say, well, it's because it's reflecting. You know, somehow the moon is absorbing the energy needed to kick up the solar cells, right? It's giving off light, but it's sucking up the energy. Okay, whatever. But what we do for an experiment, we simply take a dark room in the house, a room with one window in our house, right? And we curtain off, we get a black curtain, we cover up that window, make that room pitch black, bring our solar cells into the room with a meter to gauge how much energy it's being received from the sun, get it down to zero, of course, once the dark room is established. Then we peel off a tiny, tiny bit of the curtain to allow a very small speck of sunlight to come in through the top corner of that room and cast a very, very slight, even glow of light over the entire dark room, much like a full moon does in your backyard, right? On a clear night. And we see how much is gathered on the meter through the solar cells. And we can play around with it. We can make that light come in through the hole in the curtain, make it hit something, make it bounce off of something, reflect over to the other side of the room, and check it there, check the gauge there. If we receive any energy with very, very small amounts of sunlight coming in that type of situation, then it certainly should be able to pick up the glow of the full moon light. Just my thoughts, but I wanted to hear what you guys thought. And if somebody's already done that experiment, please send it in because I'd love to check that out. All right, so I'll hit you guys up next episode. Keep up the good work. And for everyone out there, I miss you guys, miss the podcast. And until next time, well, keep it flat and stay curious.
I love how much less creeped out I was after Jay's speak pipe than Mitchell's.
How did he get past the 60-second barrier?
I think you have to have at one point been a co-host, still a co-host, or sing. What song did that one guy sing that seemed like it was way longer than a minute?
That was 90 seconds, by the way. I don't know how he did it either.
Unbelievable.
Here's a problem with the test is who has a south in the northern hemisphere facing room that only has one window?
Maybe you could have one room in your house that only has one window. I don't know.
I like it. Just if you have a room and you just let a tiny bit of sunlight in and get it to register on the solar cell, see what the minimum amount of sunlight is.
I think it's a great idea.
And I think to take it one step further is you have that light come in and hit a white wall or even a gray wall and then face the solar cell towards the wall to see if you can pick up anything bouncing off the wall, because the ballers are going to say, well, the sunlight is bouncing off the moon, and that's where the moonlight's coming from, which we know is not the case.
Right.
So that would be the experiment. If somebody can show that a tiny bit of sunlight bouncing off a wall can power up a solar cell, and then a super clear night with a super full moon high above does or does not fire up that cell, that would be interesting.
I'm betting it doesn't.
I'm betting it doesn't also. But if sun makes electricity and the moon and it's hot and the moon is cold,
right?
What does it make?
What's
the opposite of electricity?
Oh, you just blew my mind right there. What is it? Amish?
So if you do it, you just become Amish? Is that what happens?
No, I'm just saying Amish is the opposite. I'm not saying what happens. I'm just answering the question. I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
First of all, thanks, Jay. Awesome. Great to hear from you. We want to hear from you every week. I just wanted to point out that while we played Mitchell's, we had to edit out like 12 people like Mitchell who missed Dave so much. They were to the point of stabbing him in the shower.
We're not talking about them.
How many bunnies have you found in your crock pot at home? That's all I want to know.
None yet. Our next speak pipe is from Alex, a.k.a. Flat Earth Man, a.k.a. the guy that borrows my dog and steals my songs.
Hey, what's going on, man? Flat Earth Man in the house. AKA Alex from the Conspiracy Music Guru channel. I had a thought. You know, we're always throwing around the phrase research flat Earth, but here's the problem with that. Anyone who has the open-mindedness to go and research that phrase, well, as soon as they put that into Google, the first site is going to be the Flat Earth Society, and we know what a troll fest that place is. Secondly, if they type Flat Earth into YouTube, you're going to get a bunch of videos attempting to debunk Flat Earth. So that's not going to be a great start for anyone genuinely showing an interest in Flat Earth. YouTube have openly said that they are demoting Flat Earth videos. They're changing their algorithms. I think we should be changing ours. So instead of telling people to research Flat Earth, we should be telling people to research DITRH, Jeranism, Globebusters, the Flat Earth podcast, etc. That'll get people to the good stuff right away. What do you think, guys? Great show. Keep up the good work.
Thanks for that, Alex. Welcome to 2016, my friend, where we realized that search phrase doesn't work. Last year, we did the billboard as Google A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions. This year in Canada, we did Google Flat Earth Canada. We've also created a bunch of pages that are Flat Earth Canada tags on them. So when you do that, it brings you to the conference. It brings you to the top 15 videos that we've selected. And we've done that. So we have been trying to alter the search results. When you Google Flat Earth, that's the worst thing to tell people to do.
That's a great point. I think it's awesome. All the more reason to follow the red hen.
There you go. All right. Thanks for that, Alex. The next one is from Mitchell. Mitchell. We're going to jump to Steve. Here is one from Steve.
Hey, this is Steve. Hey, just wanted to call you guys and ask. Curious about the flat Earth. I've been looking into it. I think my last hurdle is the long-haul Southern Hemisphere flights, specifically from Sydney to Buenos Aires or back, since they do non-stop. They do non-stops both ways. I'm just trying to get past that. I know there isn't a specific flat Earth model, but on the AE map, those flights just seem really impossible to do. So wanted to get your perspective on how you think they're occurring or what I should take a look at to help get me past it. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Steve. Great question. Matt, why don't you jump on that first and then I'll respond.
That's something that I haven't spent a lot of time on. I'd probably just defer to you, Dave.
Well, excellent. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
So Jaron and a lot of people have looked into it. And here are the things. Until we know the exact flight route that they're going, the exact speed of these planes, what altitudes and wind speeds they're dealing with, we really can't say what's possible and what's not possible. I truly believe that the sound barrier is a psyop. There is no sound barrier. Yes, there's a sonic boom, which is fully explainable as you pass the speed of sound, but it is no barrier. I believe that those planes can fly much, much faster than they tell us. When you go on certain routes, from Sydney to Australia, you can catch 200 mile an hour in both directions depending on which route you take. On one way of that trip, sometimes the opposite trip takes 5 hours longer, depending. So there's huge variations, and all of this is due to I believe the jet stream speeds, and these planes fly much faster and they just don't tell us. So that's a really simple answer that people kind of have a hard time seeing.
Wow. Yeah, good stuff.
The other thing is that what people don't realize, those 200, 250 mile an hour trade winds that circle above the flat Earth are going eastward, and they're outrunning the supposed spin of the Earth. Just stop and think about that for a moment. The Earth is spinning to the east, but there's upper winds that have a larger diameter because they're higher up that are outrunning the Earth by 250 miles an hour sometimes.
How does that work?
I don't know. I think the Globers just ignore that one and say, well, it has to work because we're spinning. That's their answer. So
it just does.
Yeah, it just does. Our next one is from a friend of yours, John 316.
Alleged friend.
Curious Jay, deep inside the Dave, deep inside the rabbit hole. Jaron, now Matt Long, and all the guests that have been on the program. Really appreciate you guys' podcast. I look forward to it every month
or every day.
In listening to this most recent podcast, Curious Jay is out due to the recent eclipse pushing him off the flat Earth, the edge of the flat Earth. Anyway, I'm wondering if you guys checked into Zetetic Astronomy by Samuel Robotham, where he describes how it's an impossibility that the Earth is causing a shadow on the moon. I heard recently on TFR radio with Zen Garcia, and they were describing a possibility of a dark orb in between the moon and the Earth. If you guys could follow up on that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, John, thanks for that. Matt, do you got anything to comment, or are you going to throw this one right back at me again?
I'll wait for a hard one to do that. A lot of flat earthers start with Zetetic Astronomy. I think it's a great book, and the great thing about it is it was written prior to NASA. You have someone who's trying to prove the shape of the Earth not through images or CGI, through actual repeatable science with a small s. So I love that book. Great book. I can't say as I totally remember his assertion of the lunar eclipse. I do remember him talking about it a little bit, and I'm aware of Zen Garcia, and I think it's absolutely a possibility that there is something covering up the moon, though I think it probably tends to be something a little bit more maybe electromagnetic or something along those lines that causes the change in the moon's color, because that's really what's happening, is the moon is changing color.
Yeah, I'm with you. The moon, again, in my opinion, is electromagnetic light of some sort, and whatever is interfering with it causes the different changes in its appearance that we see. So again, oops, there goes my headphones.
Brain damage.
I claim to know nothing about the moon. It's the biggest, strangest anomaly in flat Earth.
It's kind of creepy too. Not as creepy as Mitchell, but it's just a creepy thing out there just lurking. I feel like the moon lurks. I don't think it sits there. I think it lurks.
Our next one's from Dorian. Here we go, Dorian.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Curious Jay. It's Dorian from Australia. So good to finally be leaving a speak pipe. I love the show. I've been listening for about 6 months now. Dave, you're just a loose unit, mate. You are the biggest flat smacker of all time. I love every single story you have of leaving prank flat Earth stuff around. And Jay, I really love the temperate voice you bring to the podcast as well, and you're also fantastic. Quick question: what's the best way to debunk the blue marble image from 1972 or whatever it was? Pretty good with all the other sort of space imagery, and I've got a good idea of how to debunk the rest, but not so good on that one. And also, Dave, I know you're sort of interested in the, electrical idea of the universe. Just wondering if you've ever seen any YouTube videos of the moon flickering, like on and off, like as if switched on and off. Check it out. Also really interesting. Cheers, guys. Love it. Bye.
Thanks, Dorian.
Awesome segue. That was a well-placed speak pipe.
It was well placed, except it's a little outdated because Jay's gone, and he's put a lot of love out there for Jay, which is nice.
Right.
Hopefully he'll love you once he realizes that you're here for the foreseeable season.
Great. I was actually hoping he pronounced his name like Dorian after we assumed it was Dorian, but no, I have not seen the flickering moon. I would love to see it.
What I've seen is sometimes the edge of the moon, it flickers between black and white. I'm not sure if that's what he's seeing, but I've seen that sometimes.
Lunar wave?
Not the lunar wave, but again, the lunar wave is another anomaly.
Right. He also asked about the blue marble.
The 1972 blue marble. The more recent one that was on the iPhones, that's the one that Robert Simmons, the NASA artist, admitted to faking, right?
Yes, admitted.
My answer is just look at it. It's fake. Just look at it. NASA doesn't call it a photo or a photograph, and by definition, a picture or an image is not a photograph. So you can use that.
Let me ask this. The longer that the blue marble exists, does it droop since it's fake?
Explain.
Never mind. Some people think that's funny.
The other way is compare the several pictures that NASA put out together, and what you'll see is they're all different shapes and colors. The continents are different sizes. Therefore, if they're faking one, they're faking all of them.
My favorite thing is that if you look up the description, it says how they use ground-based observations to make it.
There you go.
Love it.
The next one is from Ryan. Here we go, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Ryan. I'm from Michigan. I really love your podcast. I have one question that I need answered. I've searched high and low for it. I really haven't found a clean answer for it, and maybe you guys could elaborate on it for me. The transit of Venus. I'd really like to hear your guys' take on that. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Ryan. That's a great question, and I'm going to let you go first.
I have not much to add to this other than I assume that it's proved that it's actually transiting the sun, or is that what they're suggesting?
He's talking about the transit of Venus across the face of the sun. And it was a big event a few years ago. I'm not sure how often it happens, but I know that there was some amateur footage and some NASA footage that looked nothing alike. Some of the amateur footage showed that you can see through Venus and see the edge of the sun. And I think they were using a solar filter, by the way. Again, just like the moon, Venus seems to be transparent. How does it happen on a flat Earth? Simply, the thing that we call Venus moves between us and the sun. It's that simple.
Another good answer is I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure either exactly how it all works, but in the heliocentric model, the rock of Venus moves in front of the sun, but our observations are showing that it's transparent. On the flat Earth model, these luminaries are much smaller, much closer, and during what we call the transit, it moves in front of the sun. That's what we see.
Yeah, I would also to add to that, when we have a solar eclipse, which is basically what's happening there, except with Venus, when you have a solar eclipse, you can't really confirm that that is the moon going in front of the sun because the sun is so bright. So it's quite possible that you can't confirm that that's necessarily Venus that's going in front of the sun either. Would that be an accurate statement?
That would be an accurate statement. I never really tracked where Venus was supposed to be when the transit happened. But when there is a solar eclipse, the moon is supposed to be in that area.
Right.
So it does makes sense that it has something to do with the moon. I would assume that it has something to do with Venus. Now, it could be the energy, the electromagnetic energy that's supposed to be the moon or in the position of the new moon, and that causes the eclipse. No one's ever seen the moon approach the sun or exit the sun from any angle, not even the space station. If you think about it, the space station should be able to get amazing pictures of the moon eclipsing the sun, but we get nothing.
I could do a Ritz cracker transit of the sun.
I would like to see that.
And then I would eat it.
Please make a video.
And then I would eat it.
That would be a hysterical video. Just have it really bright, and you have the Ritz cracker. You can't even see it coming in because the light is so bright. And then it would go through. You can see the fingers holding the Ritz cracker as it transits this bright light, and then it goes into the black hole. That's your mouth. All right. I think you can make that. All you need is a camera, a tripod, a really bright light, and a Ritz cracker, and a dark room.
I'm going to do it.
I'll link that, the video in the description of the podcast. Don't let our listeners down. We have one last speak pipe from Einar Kusk.
Hi, Flat Earth Podcast. This is Einar Kusk. I sent you a message on Facebook as well. I'm a filmmaker and I'm working on a Flat Earth documentary right now, a feature documentary film on Flat Earth and how I woke up to the fact that the Earth is flat. And I just launched a Kickstarter campaign, and I was just wondering if you like what you see, if you wanted to share it on your Facebook page and maybe even have me as a guest. So please check it out, and hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Einar. Matt, would you like to take that one?
I would love to have Einar on here, and we actually tried. I've addressed it earlier. It's a bit like being stuck in an airport or a doctor's office or a spinning ball flying through space.
What was your favorite part of the struggles of trying to get Einar on? I'll tell you what mine was when you said, screw this, I'm making a peanut butter and banana sandwich.
I actually said sandwich first, and then you said you were going to tell Patricia on me because she's a vegan. And then, but yes, it was peanut butter and banana. And actually, I made a video of it because I didn't have a knife. Anyone that knows me knows that I have metal business cards. And so I used my metal business card to dip into the peanut butter and cut the banana up. It worked out really well.
I will be linking that in the description also.
Already got it done because I had a freaking hour and a half to sit around and try to get a guest on here.
We have mirrored Einar's video on DITRH YouTube channel. It's on our Facebook page. It's probably on our website. He does such a good job getting the reactions of people. Like he's having a flat earth argument at a table of people, and he zooms in on the one person that's just standing there staring into space, and you can see the wheels in their head turning. He's so good at catching the actual awakening of people as they're awakening. I love the idea for his feature-length film, and I think he'll do it better than anybody else, but he has a long way to go. So we're going to try to get him on the next show. I think that we need a film producer to just fund his entire project and give him a good kickstart.
Which I'm sure there's plenty listening right now. Just, you need to do it.
All right.
Well, is that it? Does that do it for another episode of the Flat Earth Podcast, Dave?
I think this was a discombobulated one. We came out strong last week. Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully my editing skills will put this together and we won't sound too disjointed. This was a rough one for us, and I hope it was enjoyable.
We started rough. I think we finished strong. That does it for another episode of the Flat Earth Podcast. You guys can find me at flatworth.com or at Flatworth on Facebook or Instagram. I'm actually considering only Instagramming it like for the next month. What I really want people to do is reach out on whatever platform is their favorite and bug me, and that's the platform I'll concentrate on most for the next month. Also check out my buddy Amat at spain.flatworth.com, redhen, redhenn.com. And now that I'm done shamelessly plugging myself, Dave, where can we find you and the show?
You can find all our social media links at theflatearthpodcast.com. There's great videos up there. It's a great place to set someone's homepage to. Set it to the Flat Earth Podcast must-see videos page.
Great page.
That way, after they watch a video, YouTube won't suggest, Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson discussion. So you can.
What did you call him?
You know what his name is. And all of our social media links there. My YouTube, DITRH, again, with short videos. Matt also with his short videos. All that stuff is linked on theflatearthpodcast.com. We'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, I hope you're doing better, buddy.
Beautiful day here in Florida. SpaceX is moments away from making history. 8, 7, you can hear the crowd's excitement. 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. It's fact that the Earth is flat. 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 It's fact that the Earth. NASA lies us get to it around 1962ish. They tried to get through it the very first time. Mushroom clouds filled the sky. The Soviet Union and US got denied the other side of the firmament. They couldn't access it. About that time they invented NASA ships that couldn't pierce through the sky. Operation Fishbowl, go on and imagine it. And I ain't acting stupid when I say that space is fake. That this ain't no adding to it. See, the Masons made the Matrix maze and used religion to take away your faith. Hey, I guess I was just saved by grace, woke and not just a daily eighth to the face. And for a second, I ain't know if I should do this song, but then I thought, ain't no one could prove me wrong, cause it's fact that the Earth is flat. 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 It's fact that the Earth. NASA lies. They want you to believe that it's your eyes. The moon is 200,000 miles away. Nice try, they ask. Why would they lie? Say 50 million plus a day seems kinda high. Besides, we are the apple of his eye. Take away the dome and we're not. Are you surprised? And if so, why? Think about it, man. Really a big bang? Then evolution? How could we be stardust? That's as nuts as Isaac Newton. All the research that I've been doing, you could even do if you're blind and stupid. Get a book on tape or YouTube and view it. It all makes sense. They don't want you to see the truth or to believe the truth, cause they believe you don't even need the truth. It's all made up, the elite, they're all in a club, and it's all gonna get worse. They signed it in blood, but in Yah's name holds faith and trust. So I'm just chilling, trying to tell y'all what's up. Repent. It's fact that the Earth is flat. 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 It's fact that the Earth. NASA lies. NASA is a devil in disguise. I repeat, no shuttle has ever pierced through the sky. You decide. Look at any launch, how they fly sideways, never straight up. Yeah, that would work if the globe wasn't made up. NASA every day gets paid chunks of money for what? Some kids don't even get to eat lunch. Disgusting. Some people don't even get to eat nothing. And we're trusting cause buildings ain't crumbling as we hurl through space doing 60,000 and something. Nothing you say will change my mind. We've been lied to. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine too. But please understand I've listed reasons why I choose to call you blind if you refuse to just open your eyes, you fools. And I ain't trying to leave on bad terms, but it's clear you're still brainwashed if you think the Earth turns. It's fact that the Earth is flat. 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 It's fact that the Earth is flat.
Here to splash some flat water in your face with my boy, the one and only PC. We're here to tell you, do your own experiment. Stop believing everything they tell you. And the red pill is real. Free your mind, Neo. It's back that the Earth is flat.